Hi everyone, this is LAR Games, and today I'm watching a new anime adaptation of a story that I really like. It is probably my favorite isekai, and you may have heard me talk about it during my Shield Hero reactions, because I think it did a bunch of things better than Shield Hero. But the adaptation is here, and it's been coming for a while, but the news about it has never been particularly good. There's always been a whole bunch of concerning things about it. And this reaction is probably going to be something along the lines of me just seeing how bad they mess it up. My number one red flag, well, besides the really horrible looking art for it that was released a while back, newer art looked better, but overall it was very ugly looking. But yeah, besides that, my main concern was that they're basically going to try and skip some of the best parts of the early series just to introduce all of the characters that are going to be interacting with the main character for quite a bit. And they're not going to take the time to adapt it properly, because they need to have those characters to kind of sell the anime, I guess. Because otherwise it would just be one, maybe two characters for almost the entire thing, which would be pretty different for a show. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're going to mess that up, pacing-wise. And not just like, they skipped this chapter, they skipped that chapter, just to get things moving faster. It seems like they're just going to compress an entire arc into, I don't know how many episodes, but not nearly enough. It should take the entire season, if it was done properly, in my opinion. So, the fact that that character was in the promotional art says to me that it's not going to do that. It's not going to take the time to properly tell these events. So I'm already like, unless they're going to do it at the very end, and I heard that there's going to be like special episodes, then it would be appropriate to show that character in art and like promotional stuff. But this early on, oh man, It's tough to see when one of your favorite things suddenly gets an adaptation. You're finally going to see them animated, but then suddenly you see that they're doing a horrible job at it. So I can already see that it's not going to be better than the Shield Hero adaptation. It's definitely not. Which sucks, because I like the story and what the events and all that, and the characters more than the Shield Hero stuff. It did a whole bunch of things better too, but the fact that it's going to skip a lot, it's not going to be as impactful as it should have been. Because the main character in this goes through a similar thing the Shield Hero character does. And it's much more warranted in his case. But I don't know, I'll get to it when we watch it. So yeah, let's get into it. That's a lot of 3D. That's not even good 3D. That's very low resolution textures on that. So what are you... Oh no, what are you doing? Why are you showing that now? I don't like flash forwards like this. They're showing her right now too? What the heck? This is probably just I'm gonna watch the opening. It's not like it's gonna spoil anything for me. So far, it's only showed two characters, which should be the most important ones. of this season. And there we go. They showed her. She shouldn't be there till the end. Oh, there's also showing her. She's supposed to be way farther in the line. Like, she shouldn't even show up in the anime yet. Especially if it's a 12-episode series. This is why I don't like watching openings. Because look at how much they're spoiling. She was my favorite. But, yeah. Well, besides the main girl. The main girl is great. That was a whole lot of spoilers. Pretty stylish title card there. Really, you're starting here? Yeah, there's a flash forward. That's extremely disappointing. You're not even setting up the thing first. They're just straight into this. Why don't they start it in the beginning? Like, everything else started at the beginning. Well, except the manga, but that was a bit disappointing as well. This is a fairly significant moment the first time it happens, because you know what happened right before this, but right now, why would you show this right now? It is kind of cool to see these monsters animated, though. And the art isn't that bad, to be honest. How much is it going to show before it shows how we got there? But as you can see, he's going through some traumatic things here. Now Fumi from Shield Hero doesn't really compare. Also, that transmute looks awful. Oh, they're going to show that too. Okay, they're just basically... Maybe they're not even going to show how he got there until later on? Like, why? Why? Okay. Now they're flashing back. There was a whole thing before this happened, and they're just saying like if it's just... They're showing it like if it was a thing that was they're showing all this as a flashback. That is horrible. So I guess this is the present, and they're not really going to bother setting up anything else. Okay, I guess they are. They're just doing weird stuff with the timing, with the chronology. I guess it's kind of... I don't know what they wanted to do here. To make it more interesting, maybe by flashing forward and back, cutting into different different events. I think this is just going to confuse people. You really should have started in the beginning, when they were in the classroom. Ah, it's very disappointing. Oh, 3D. That looks pretty bad. There's some cool things about it, like the design of some graphical stuff, like, not graphical, but like, design-wise. Like the titles and it just has a nice style, but how they're handling the story, it's incredibly disappointing. It's not even bothering to introducing anyone. It's just kind of throwing all of this out to get to the point where he's by himself. There was a lot of setup that was supposed to lead up to this, but they're just kind of mixing it all up. Like, when we were here in the source, we already knew who all these characters were and the relationship between all of them. So everything had more significance. As of now, it's just characters you don't know doing things that you don't care about. Like, where we are right now, it should have been at least, like, soonest the second episode. The first episode should have all just been set up. Like, everything we saw in the flashback would have taken up at least an episode. Because they spent a lot of time not in the dungeon. Also, the detail of these events have been completely lost. Like, all the reasons for everyone doing things. So what I'm thinking is that they're going to try to get this dungeon part over with as soon as possible. Even though it's like the best part of the story, of the early story. Also, at this point, you also don't know why she cares at all. Or... Oh, they're just flashing. I'm back again. Oh, God. This is actually kind of annoying me quite a bit. No, so they're explaining it now instead of the proper time when... So I guess they're not going to show when everybody got their powers? Or maybe they will, just another flashback. It is extremely disappointing. And there's not going to be another adaptation to this. This is the last time anyone's ever going to adapt this, so this is it. They skipped all the explanation of the dungeon. They skipped all the explanation of everyone's powers, the country, what they need, and... Oh, man, this is... This almost feels even more abrupt than Naofumi's personality change, and it's not supposed to be. And didn't even show him preparing for all this stuff either. Like, it doesn't show how resourceful he was being. I think it pretty much just flash forward right now, and you can't even really tell. This is way too fast. They just kind of glossed over the first time he ate a monster, too. That's okay. The pacing in this is kind of the worst pacing I've ever seen in an adaptation. This should have been the end of the second episode. when he, like, if it was paced properly, it would have been him probably taking a bite of the monster, building it up properly, and ending there on a cliffhanger. That would have been pretty good. Also, refused to kind of show everything about the monsters. How he kind of like analyzes everything about them and implements that. I mean, they're kind of doing it now, but like he was observing them even before he fought them. You have to see what people think about this because this is upsetting me quite a bit. The worst thing is that people are going to judge this based on the anime. All of this should have taken a lot of time. You know, a natural progression to this. But it wasn't at all. It feels like he just got this, like, it almost feels like this was given to him, but it wasn't. He earned all of this. Oh, man. We didn't even get to know his character before he turned like this. One of my favorite things about this series is just how much the main character changes over time, both in the beginning, while he's surviving, and after. Like, his character's always changing. Not always for the better, but in a logical way. But it doesn't feel logical because they just skipped almost every part of the setup. Yeah, we don't even know that he has a rivalry with a certain thing because you didn't get to see all the times that he had to survive fighting him. Oh man, this is so upsetting. Like, just based on this one episode, I'm already ready to give this, like, a 4. Because this is the best stuff that happens in the early parts of the series. The third episode should have been him confronting this monster, in my opinion. you can't even, like, see the contrast between his current character and the one he was before. He only got, like, a scene. And they're already getting to her now. This should have been, like, episode 5. This is very upsetting. Is there anything after? Oh man, that is... I almost feel drained just at being upset at everything that this did wrong. Even the title here, you could see it says from Commonplace, the world's strongest. It feels like, just looking at the first episode, that he started strong. But it was a really interesting progression to get there, and it just skipped all of it. I'm genuinely upset right now. Okay, I'm just gonna end this because I'm not happy at all. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.